spices over the food. We said we have to be careful because when you have the spices over the food, it's steamy over there. When you put the spices while the pot is boiling on the fire, and if you have meat in the pot and you're pouring the spices over it, the steam goes into the spices, and therefore you're not going to be able to use them after for dairy. So you'll have to have two sets of spices if you do it that way, one for dairy, one for meat. And the only way to stay away from it is actually pour into your hand or into a spoon and then pour it into the pot. And some were wondering where we get this from. Maybe it's a chumrah. We need to know that the poskim bring this down to halacha, and the halacha is brought down in Siman Tzadik Bet in the Shulchan Aruch that says that anything becomes asur like that. מחבת של חלב שנתנו בקירה תחת קדרה של בשר, הזיעה עולה ונבלה בקדרה ואוסרתה. The steam goes, the זיעה goes into the food that's on top and makes it asur. And same thing would be מחבת של חלב שנתנו בקירה תחת קדרה. The קדרה itself becomes asur as well. The Rema says that it needs to be yad soledet, which means at the place that it touches the pot on top, it needs to be hot enough that you wouldn't be able to leave your hands there for too long. And over here also, when you're pouring, usually you're pouring right on top of the pot. If you put your hands there, if you can't keep it for too long, it becomes what we call yad soledet, and then it's asur right away. It becomes asur right away, not at the time that you have to remove your hand. Rather, that's only an indication. If you can't leave your hands there for very long, that means it's yad soledet, which asks it right away. But the Pri Megadim says that this is how the poskim bring down l'halacha. You can take a look at the Kaf HaChaim, and nobody argues on that. That although it's not yad soledet, let's say you're pouring it over a pot and it's high enough, or you can leave your hands there and it's not hot enough, and therefore it's not yad soledet, so you would say therefore it's mutar. Says the Pri Megadim that is only true for bliot, but even without the bliot, the steam itself is mamashut, and therefore you'll have to wash whatever's on top. So let's say what the Rema is talking about, you have a piece of meat that you had over the food and it's not hot enough over there, and the steam goes on top, and therefore because of that you would say it's mutar. But says the Pri Megadim, it doesn't mean that it's mutar to eat, it means that you must wash it. Let's read it inside. יש להיזהר על כל פנים שירחצו הבשר היטב יפה יפה, כי על כל פנים יש זיעה מחלב. That's the way it is. And even more so, says the Kaf HaChaim in Siman Tzadik Bet Kuf, that you're not allowed to do it lechatchila, because anything you're not going to wash, you're not allowed to do lechatchila. Spices, you don't wash normally before you pour it in. Therefore, you're not allowed to do such a thing lechatchila. So it comes out like this. You have over here a problem that it is yad soledet. So therefore, it's mavliya inside the spices, inside the can of the spices. But even without that, even if it's not yad soledet, it's still asur because it gets steam that has mamashut, and in order to use that spice that has mamashut, you'll have to wash it before using it, and people don't do that, therefore you're not allowed to use it lechatchila. So that halacha one needs to remember. This is brought down in many poskim, including the Badei HaShulchan, that the spices can't be used without this kind of separation of putting it in your hands. You can't just pour it on top of the food, because then it becomes basar v'chalav.